I just got back from a long trip along the Milky Way. I stopped off at the North Pole to spend the holiday. Anyway, love that song. Lots happening in the news, and yeah, I've been gone for about a month. Took a little break, spent some time with the family, did some Christmas. It was awesome. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. A lot of things are going on, but I kind of wanted to talk about Mamdani in New York City. This guy's got some interesting plans, and I thought it'd be a neat idea to kind of talk about him here. He's a democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani. I am butchering that name. I am sorry. That is the best I can do. Hey, I understand how it feels. People butcher my name every day. It's not that hard. Anyway, excuse me. He wants to increase the city taxes on people that make over $1 million per year. Okay, let's think about this for a minute. By 2%. So, it's 1% of the population, according to this. This is at the EmpireCenter.org, a supposedly nonpartisan site. We'll see about that. Maybe, maybe not. And will this have a negative impact? That's the real question. And I believe it will. For two reasons here. One is the one that everyone always says. People are just going to move and leave. Sure. Yeah. That's the argument that's been against high taxes for a long time and is mostly true. I know that the left is trying to make it seem like nothing bad's going to happen. Oh, yeah. It's going to change. And I'll tell you why for the next reason here. But look at California. Places like that. The people have left that state, and it's a beautiful state. California has some of the best weather, the best sights, the best natural formations, I guess, in pretty much the country. It's a beautiful state. There's a reason Hollywood started there. It's not because of money or people. It's because that place has just beautiful everything. But it has a problem. Extremely high taxes. See, the state income tax is very high there. And that's hard to compete when next door in Nevada, it's basically no income taxes. So, what's to stop somebody rich from going, I'll just move to here? Pretty interesting way to do it. I know several people who have just left California. Took everything with them and their money with them and said, yeah, move over here. That's what's going to happen to New York. And this is what rich people are probably going to do. They're either going to fully on move, which is, probably what's I think some are going to do. Or they're going to do the rich people maneuver. They're going to find a way to live in New York, but not actually live in New York. New York City is a great city. As much as we all like to talk bad about it, it is a nice city. I've been there a couple times. It's beautiful. The architecture is amazing. The food's good. It's hard to give up now. And it has a sort of status symbol kind of impact. Of course, rich people don't have to live there to enjoy it, do they? Most rich people could probably afford to live in Florida, where most New Yorkers end up going, stay warm, and in the summertime, they go, you know what? I can go back up to New York. It's a little hot down here, and rent a place at a fraction of the cost of buying and not pay the taxes, and then just leave whenever it gets cold again. What's to stop these guys from doing that? Is there any way that they're going to still have to pay taxes if they make their home state, Florida, pay less in taxes than in New York City, and then just visit New York whenever they feel like it? How are you going to tax those rich people then? That's exactly what I would do. Let's see if there's any interesting thing. Does he have any other plans on that? He claims that these proposals he wants to increase corporate taxes he wants to increase corporate tax rate to match New Jersey's. How great is New Jersey doing? You want to be more like New Jersey? Let's be honest. Does anyone want to be like New Jersey? Does New Jersey want to be like New Jersey? I don't think so. Yeah, not going to happen. Not a good idea. Anytime you increase taxes, businesses start doing the numbers, and they run, is it cheaper to stay or move? Businesses are required, if you're a publicly traded company, pretty much to focus on profit. The people who run it can get sued for not doing that. So if you're doing that and you're going against what the company goals are, you can get sued for that stuff. Technically, you can get sued for anything. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but yeah. So these are the top marginal tax rates. The Empire Center compiled them all. New York and New York State, New York City and New York State would be over 16% of your income. That is a lot. They're all leftist states: New York, California, Hawaii, New York regular, District of Columbia, New Jersey, Oregon, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Vermont. Wisconsin is the highest Republican state at 7.5%, so half of what New York is. South Carolina has 6.2%, and there are several states that have 0, but I don't see them listed here. I don't know why Nevada's not on here. I guess because these are all states that have anything, and they don't even bother to show the ones that aren't there. Oh, yeah, here we go. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming have no state income tax. Texas is a great example of how California could be. Texas pays for all their services. They're a large state. They provide basically the same kind of services California does, yet you don't pay taxes. Now, it's generated through other things, obviously. Corporate tax rates, sales tax, things like that are how you generate revenue. There was a big debate back when I was a lot younger about, gosh, I'm old, about whether or not a national sales tax would be an effective way to generate revenue for the federal government and eliminate income tax. It's a great idea, but I always wondered whether that would actually really work, because the people that would pay into it that already pay no taxes, basically, if you're making very little money in the United States, you're basically paying nothing. When you do your taxes at the end of the year, you're getting most of your money back. Very little of it is really taken away from you if you're extremely poor. But if you were to have a national sales tax, you would probably not be very beneficial from that. You would be buying food, paying taxes on it, be buying things that you could afford, and still paying more. So I feel like that wouldn't help. Now, the extremely poor, I'm talking about $0 income, probably would be okay because most of their food is subsidized. So you really only would pay for, non-essential things like toys and computers and things that you didn't actually need to survive. That would be something different. It would affect low middle class to high middle class the most, while the rich would just go, well, it's another few percent on something I buy, and it would discourage buying among the rich, probably to an extent. That's the thing. The economists are terrified of deflation, and they were afraid that a national income tax would cause deflation, which is where prices today are more expensive than prices tomorrow. And I used to think that was correct, that being afraid of that was a good thing, but I'm not so sure anymore. You learn a lot in school, and then you get in the real world, and you're like, this doesn't actually make any sense. Excuse me. This is a great article. I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. You can go check it out. EmpireCenter.org. Impact of Mamdani's tax hike plans. Estimate share of New York City income tax paid by top 1%. Currently is 40%. With his, it'll be 61%. That's a lot to add in. These people are not stupid. They're going to find a way out. They always do. They'll move to another country before they do. They'll start a new country before they do this. It wouldn't be the first time somebody has done something for money to create a nation. Let's see. I'm starving. Let's see. There's not really much else here. I'm not going to really go too much into it. But definitely check it out. It's worth checking out. It just goes into the details a little bit more that I'm going to go into right now. I'm more talking about the opinion of it than the actual numbers here. You want to read it, definitely check it out. I'll try to link it in the description below. It's definitely worth checking out. I always try to, whenever I review news articles or talk about them or react to them, I always try to include the information about them. So if you're ever looking for one and I react to it, I don't put it in the description for some reason, let me know and I'll try and find it again. A lot of people out here read, I like Tim Pool, love the guy, great show. He reads the whole thing straight through. Now, is that copyright infringement? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't like to do that. I just feel like that's defeating the purpose of the news article. Now, granted, you can technically see it on my screen here, but I'm scrolling so fast, you'd have to pause every few seconds, and I don't think that I'm directly impacting the market of that news article. I'm not really going through the whole thing. It's really just giving you my opinion on what's happening in the news. But anyway, back to what I was going for. When people do taxes like this, they always go for the idea of benefiting the poor. That's the whole point. That's the point. That's why democratic socialism sounds so popular. That's why people think it's going to save them. It's not. it's only going to make you poorer. The rich leave. Who's going to clean their crap? They don't have anybody to clean. Think about it. If they were to leave, sell all their apartments, leave them vacant, they no longer need people to clean them. They no longer are ordering out. They're no longer buying apartments. So why build them? Why hire construction workers? Why hire anybody? It does have a trickle-down effect, and I know that it's called Reaganomics, and people don't like that idea, but Reaganomics does work to an extent. Now, not as perfect as Reagan wished it did, but it does have an effect. It will probably end up hurting the poor, probably more than they wished it would. Now, from what I understand about New York law, the New York City can't do this without approval from the government in Albany of New York. So the state government has to approve any citywide income taxes. So whether he's going to get this approved, probably not. He could be all talk. But from what I can gather from the guy, the reason people like him is because he doesn't seem like he's all talk. And that's why people like Trump. They found a guy who's going, hey, these people aren't actually listening to you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually solve these problems. Is he going to solve these problems? No, of course not. The way he's doing it's never going to work. But he wants to, and he's going to try an idea. Now, his idea is not going to work, but that's why people voted for him. He wants to try to fix something instead of getting elected, blaming the other side, and never actually doing anything, which is what most people in our government do. That's how you get elected. You just don't do anything. I don't know. I hope he succeeds, but he won't. That's the sad thing about it. Anyway, what do you guys think? You think this guy's going to work out? You think socialism is the right answer? It's not, but give me your reasons. I wonder if there is a good reason for socialism. When is it a good idea to handcuff people and say, you're going to do what I want or else? At some point, people with rifles show up at your door and make you do the things. That's what Jordan Peterson said when he was forced to use compelled speech. They were like, well, it's just a fine. It's fine. What if I don't pay the fine? What happens then? Well, people with guns show up at your door, make you pay the fine, or they put you in jail. And how do they put you in jail? Because they're the one with the guns. They're not showing up asking nicely. They're saying, you go to jail. If you resist us, well, that's not good. Anyway, what do you guys think? And let me know. I'm curious, and I'm hoping to do some more of these videos soon. Back from my vacation. It was a good vacation. I needed it. Filmed a lot for the other channels, though, so I got, a little bit of rest. Anyway, have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.